I still remember it kind of vividly. And sometimes I get chills when I think about it because I just remember my mom just sitting at the edge of the boat on the gas tank. And then when she got up, the gas was still, since she's riding on the wave, the gas was leaking out the tank and got burnt by the gas.
Welcome back to Beyond the Buzzer, the podcast that examines the relationship between success, adversity, and balance for high-performance athletes off the court. My name is Aboudi Al-Katan.
And I'm Sam Douglas. And today, we've got a great episode lined up for you guys.
Our guest today is a tremendous athlete with a remarkable backstory.
Cady Lalane has played all over the world: Korea, Turkey, China, Puerto Rico, Spain, Italy, and now with the WSL champion Kuwait club.
Not only does Cady play for my old team, Nadi Al Kuwait, but they are one win away from being back-to-back WSL West Asia Super League champions. Before all this, though, Cady survived the harrowing journey from Haiti to America as a 7-year-old on a boat with many others who were unsure of their futures.
Once he settled in the U.S., he was the first in his family to graduate high school and the first in his family to graduate from college.
On today's episode of Beyond the Buzzer, we're catching up with Cady on his life so far and what he hopes to accomplish outside the sport.
Welcome to the show, baby.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Cady, we start every episode with a section called the shot clock section, where we're going to ask you a bunch of questions in 3 minutes and see how much you can get through. Are you ready?
Ready.
What's been the highlight of your career so far?
Still getting drafted by San Antonio.
What athlete, past or present, would you love to have dinner with?
LeBron James.
Which country that you played in has the best fans?
Probably Korea.
Favorite player in the NBA right now?
Jokic. Oh, Anthony Edwards too.
Favorite sneaker?
Favorite sneakers? Kobe's.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
Definitely fried chicken.
Best player you ever played with?
Oh man, I played with a lot. Probably Eddie Tavares. I played with a lot of guys.
Favorite sports movie?
Loving basketball.
Block a shot to win the game or make a shot to win the game?
For me, blocking a shot to win the game.
What's the strangest fan interaction you've ever had?
I was in Korea. Fan ran up to me to give him sign some t-shirt he had just took off his back, and he was just standing there with no shirt on.
What's the movie you've seen the most in your life?
Black Hawk Down.
If you could add any item to the Nadi Al Kuwait facility, what would it be?
Cold tub, hot tub, sauna.
Which country where you played at had the best food?
Man, it's tied. Kuwait or Spain?
Wow. All right. So the first thing I wanna recap on is the best fried chicken in the world is the Raising Cane's in the Kuwait airport. I hope you've had that so far, dude.
Yeah. I pick it up all the time. Every time we're traveling out.
I want to hear a little bit more about you getting drafted by San Antonio, because we hear so much about San Antonio and their culture and the way they do things. So I just want to hear a little bit more about that.
So getting drafted by San Antonio is, a dream come true, because, you work so hard to get drafted, going through all the pre-draft workouts. It's a grind because you're traveling back and forth from every city. So hearing my name called by San Antonio was, especially a prestigious team like San Antonio for winning championships and the players that they had that came up through there. So when I got to San Antonio, you seen they're very professional from head to toe. And when I first got there, met Tim Duncan, Manu, seeing these guys getting taped, just talking to me, and just, it was kind of like a shock too at the same time, because I'm like, as a kid, I watched these guys really, win championships and play basketball the whole time. So now just sitting here talking to them was really eye-opening, and getting to meet Coach Pop, great guy, but what Coach Pop wants is what you got to do. And it's just the whole organization was really, they're really professional. Like as soon as you walk in there, everything was, there was no lag.
You spent, so funnily, these days, especially high performance players spend, maybe 1 or 2 years in college. You spent, 4 years playing university before you went to the draft, right? And I watched some highlights recently, and you were a bucket, but you could tell that you were raw, right? I think I read you started playing when you were 14. So how much of being drafted by an organization like that did that really develop your game and take it to the next level?
Definitely had to do with confidence, number one. It boosts my confidence through the roof because, you know, like starting at 14, like sometimes you second guess yourself. Oh man, I just did this. Can I really do it again? But after I got drafted and you know, by San Antonio, I'm like, you know, they're not just drafting you just to draft you. Like you got to be pretty good. And being called on that stage was 60. It's only 60 people out of 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people that played basketball in that year. So it boosts my confidence a lot and let me know, you know, I'm built for this. I could really play this game at the highest level.
Well, we'll definitely dive into your basketball career more, but for now, I think let's dial it back and let's start from the beginning. So, before you played basketball, before you opened up your academy, before you traveled the world, you've spoken quite candidly about that journey you made from Haiti to the U.S. Right? We'd love to hear in your own words. You know, what do you still remember about that? You know, some of the fears you had on that journey. If you ever thought that you would, you know, get to where you are today, travel the world, what was it like? You know, traveling at 7 years old, arriving in the States, and kind of having a blank page in front of you.
Man, I still remember it kind of vividly. And sometimes I get chills when I think about it because I just remember my mom just sitting at the edge of the boat on the gas tank. And then when she got up, you know, the gas was still, since she's riding on the wave, the gas was leaking out the tank and got burnt by the gas. And I remember, you know, after we got on shore, you know, when we went to the house, ended up seeing the mark a couple of days later. I remember just jumping off the boat. I seen everybody tying sneakers around their neck to jump off the boat. So, you know, I followed right behind, tied my sneaker around my neck, jumped off the boat. Next thing you know, I'm trying because it was a little too deep. I ended up losing my sneakers. So, you know, I just remember just running through the woods, hiding, trying to, you know, I mean, it's all vivid to me, but you know, it all played off.
What was that conversation like with your mom before you got on the boat, right? Did you know where you were going or kind of what you were doing? Or does it only really hit you when you, all of a sudden you look around and you realize you're in the middle of the ocean, kind of wondering what's going to happen next, you know?
I had no idea. All I knew was in the back of a pickup truck driving, and all of a sudden I passed out, woke up, we all getting on the boat, and then after that, you know, fell asleep again, just thinking, you know, it's gonna be a short trip, and all of a sudden we're in the middle of the ocean. And I remember just looking up, and there was a full moon that night. The ocean in the middle of the night with a full moon do look very beautiful, but at the same time very scary too, because there's no land, nothing around.
Was that journey just you and your mom, or do you have siblings as well?
It was me, my mom, my sister, my little sister, which I'm 4 years older than, and it was us three really that took that journey.
Cady, tell me a little bit more, like, how was it? Like, how'd you guys know when to jump in the water? And we're talking about this was during daytime or this was during the nighttime?
Nighttime.
How did you feel as a 7-year-old jumping in the ocean and not knowing where you're jumping into? Like
that's like when I think back from when I jumped off that boat, to show that, you know, fear wasn't really something I really had to. I was pretty much fearless kind of. So when I seen everybody jumping off, I just said, you know, I'm jumping off also. So as soon as I jumped off, I don't know what my mom did, but all I know, I got to shore, and the boat it wasn't too far from shore. It was like right there, but you know, I wasn't tall enough like everybody else to really, you know, walk. So I had to do a little swim, but then I got right to shore, turned around, my mom's right here, picked with my sister, grabbed her, and we just ran to the bushes as soon as she grabbed my sister.
wow. And what was next?
And after that, so after she grabbed us, we went to the bushes, right? So we was hiding, creeping around, and we could see cars flying by. We don't know. I still say I don't know if it was police or border patrol. I'm not sure, but cars was flying back. So we was hiding in the bushes and went around the other side. So everybody kind of split up. Everybody went their own way, did their own thing. But my mom had a connection, which my sister's father was there already, waiting to pick us up. So so they was at the beach on the other side, and as soon as I guess the border patrol went by asking what's going on, they just said they was just at the beach, just hanging out. So this was our way to get to wherever they were staying at. So as soon as we crept a little bit, I don't know how my mom knew where to go. Probably spoke with them before she got on the boat to figure out everything. And you know, we hopped in. They had a car parked right there, so we hopped right in the car. You know, just really us three that got in the car. Everybody else, I'm not sure what happened to everybody else. Still to this day, sometimes you run into some, you know, Haitian families that, you know, they came from the same boat or knew somebody that came, oh, XYZ got caught or XYZ made it, but we got on the boat and in the car, and all I remember we just drove, and I passed out again. And next thing you know, I woke up in the house.
Your mom sounds like a remarkable woman. Can you talk about a little bit about that transition now? So you've done the hard part, or at least what seems to be the hard part in making that journey. How do you then settle into what regular life is?
It was kind of tough when I first got to the country because, again, I was just one day I was just somewhere else, and next thing you know, I'm here, and you seen the United States on TV, all of a sudden you realize you're here now, and it was a pretty tough transition because at the same time I was Haitian, so growing up Haitian at that time it wasn't really too cool to be Haitian. You guys would crack on you, you would dress a little different, and you just it was a little different. If you're from the islands, from pretty much from the country, so you don't really have much of the clothing that everybody else had. So that was really the transition I had to go through. And once I started figuring it out and started adapting to speaking English a little bit better, I felt a little bit more comfortable. But at the same time, I always had my mom there to help me navigate those waters to fit in or to feel comfortable.
So, Cady, you're 7 years old in a new country. How did basketball start for you? How did it come into your life?
Well, basketball started really when we came into the country. Coming from Haiti, you used to getting whoopings. Like with a belt, you do something wrong, you getting a whooping. So one day my mom whooped my sister, and I guess it was in the U.S. school, they seen it as like child abuse or something, and it took us away from my mom. So it took us away for like 4 months. We were living in child custody, DCF, and it was a whole nother process. This is when I was in 5th grade.
You're telling me at what age were you and your sister taken away from your mom? At 7?
No, it was taken away. I was around 5th grade, so that's like around 10.
11, 12, yeah, around that.
11, 12, yeah, 11, 12.
This is insane to me, that what you had to deal with. You had to deal with the boat issue, getting to America, and then you had to deal with that. Talk to me about the difficulties of you being away from your mom and your sisters with you and moving from house to house. Like, this must have been, I can't believe it. Like, I'm just shocked right now.
Yeah, living in a group home, like it's tough. I could definitely say, like, especially if you're in all guys, teenage guys, like you're gonna end up in fights. You're gonna end up, the fact is that I just wouldn't leave my sister. So that's why, I had to deal with some of the stuff I had to deal with. For my sister, it wasn't too hard because she was with the younger crowd, but I was with, some of the teenagers, and, being that the fact I was probably the only Haitian around, and, guys would probably try to crack jokes. And at that age, I just really, some of the jokes I didn't really get, and I wasn't too much of a hee ha ha type of person. So the only way you'll try to resolve that, getting physical. So that's what happened at some of the group homes. So that's why we had to move so much. But at the same time, it kind of helped me become a man at an early age.
Cady, that's a remarkable story. So just so the listeners are clear, when you arrived from Haiti, you were in Florida, and then over the course of, once this happened with your mother, the next couple months, you were bouncing from home to home within Florida, or did you go to different states in the U.S.?
Within Florida, it was all in Orlando. When I got taken away from my mom, it was all in Orlando. So we moved from like group homes all from West Orlando to the east side to Central, back to Central Orlando. So it was all over the city pretty much.
And then 4 months after this started, the case was dropped and you were able to go back home?
Really, it's more like 5 to 6 months. The case after the case was dropped, but yeah, my mom, everything she had made from working, she had to spend it all on lawyers to try to get us back. And that's probably one of the most depressive state my mom ever really went through. I remember my older sister, like when we got older, she started explaining to me what my mom was really going through, how much she had to be at the house to make sure, because my mom had to, if she felt like it was her fault, and sometimes we get taken into, DCF custody, you're there till you're 18, you might never come back. And they're gonna try to find, it's almost like the jail system. So they're gonna try to find a way not to, let you come back. But the lawyer and the judge, thank God the judge understood, Haitian culture. And she understood, like, in Haitian culture, you do something wrong, the way you get disciplined is by getting a whooping with a belt. So she ended up telling my mom, like, it wasn't really with a belt. My mom whooped my sister, it was probably more like, extension cord. But she told, like, whether use a wet towel or something to whoop kids, or, find a different mean of discipline, which, my mom, she was pretty good at that, finding a different route. But
I want to ask you, how did you end up in Austin? Because your whole story was in Florida. So how did you end up in Austin?
so I ended up in Austin after San Antonio drafted me. So after San Antonio drafted me, Austin Spurs were their G League team or D League at that time. And so I went over there down there to play. And it was a great experience. Never really been to Austin, never heard of Austin until I got there. And it was tremendous.
Let's dial it back. I guess before Austin, you end up going to play Division I college in Massachusetts, right? I went to university in Boston as well.
Yeah, UMass.
Talk about that jump, right? So we've heard all the adversity you've come over as a young kid. You pick up a basketball around the age of 14 properly, and all of a sudden you realize that you can kind of do this. What was it like when you first understood that you were actually going to go to university, right? And not only a university, a top tier school and institution from an athletic perspective. And can you walk us through some of your first moments, on university? What was it like, your first game?
So adversity was always creeping around. It was just like a bad rainstorm always over my shoulder. So even when I got to UMass, the first year, since my high school I went to, not too many players really went D1 at that time. So getting qualified, it was pretty tough. And some of the classes I was supposed to take, they didn't have. So I originally signed University of Georgia to go there to play, but I couldn't qualify to be at University of Georgia. So I had to go to UMass, which had a Prop 48 program where you go there and be a regular student that first year, just do regular schoolwork. And then after that, the second year, you have your full, 4 years to play basketball. So that's what I did. That's the route I did instead of going to JUCO to go play basketball. Because if I went to JUCO, I was just thinking about switching, playing football possibly. But I just said, if Prop 48 is a great way for me to still play college basketball. So I did the Prop 48 at UMass. Coach Kellogg was there, which, my family felt very comfortable with. My mom, he came to our house and, loved DK, great guy. And he made sure he told my mom he was going to take care of me like I'm his son, which he did the whole time I was UMass. So my first year there, it was great. The first 6 months, 7 months I was at UMass, everything went great. And while I was there, I ended up getting a letter from the United States government saying April 28th, I have to leave the country and go back to Haiti. So essentially I was getting deported for coming into the country illegally after 7 months of being at UMass. So I brought the letter to DK, showed him like, is this real? Is this something I really got to do? I'm here in college. Like, is it even possible? So he did his research and found out like, yeah, we got to leave the country and go and come back in the right way. So knowing when you get deported from the United States, like chances of coming back is very slim to none. So I called my mom and we spoke about it, and that kind of crushed my whole dream, because I'm like, damn, I just worked so hard to really become a college basketball player. Now I got to go back to this country. And now when you was there as a kid, like you don't know how bad it is till you get a little older. You see the country like, damn, like, and it's after the earthquake had happened. I'm like, damn, I don't want to go back over there. Like it's Haiti, you're going back to Haiti right now.
So from the time you arrived in the States, you never went back to Haiti up until this moment?
Up until this moment, never went back. And there was really no reason for us to go back, so.
Sorry to cut you off, because usually if you leave the country after that letter, they usually kind of keep you away for like 10 years before you enter the country. So you were right about that.
Yep. So that's, man, and I turned 19 when I received that letter. So that was another dagger to it. So I called my mom. She ended up saying she found a place to stay. This pastor that she was cool with, the church that she goes to, the pastor down there said that, both pastors communicated and said that we could stay at his house. So, I told DK what's going on, and they helped me with a whole program to still keep me eligible while I still go down there. I just got do papers, document the whole process when I was down in Haiti, take pictures, and just to get credit from different teachers. And luckily, a lot of them they understood the situation and decided to work with me. So I took a deep breath and decided all right. I didn't even know how to tell my teammates I was leaving. I was getting deported. So I kind of just told some of them yo, go home real quick, probably be back, and just left. And as soon as I left, 27th, we were on the flight. 27th that night, we were on the flight heading back to Haiti to be there by the 28th to leave the country. And that like probably one of the most
Cady, the whole family or just you?
just me, my sister, and my mom. Me and my sister and my mom. So just us three. My mom she came to the United States. She had got married and got her citizenship or a green card, so she was okay to travel back and forth. But she was still going through the process trying to get us to get the green card, which was a little bit harder and a little bit longer. So for her, she was fine. It was me and my little sister that we had to get deported back to Haiti, and so she came with us to make sure everything was good and meet the pastor. And I remember when I first got there, I'm like, man, I'm really back in Haiti, and that's when it really hit me. Like, damn, like everything I really worked for is probably really gone because, like you said, like usually when you get deported, you're not coming back to the country for a little while, or if ever.
And how long was the process in Haiti? Was it longer than you expected? Were you able to hoop? Walk us through some of your memories there, what that was like.
So the process in Haiti took about 6 months.
Jeez.
And from having great connections and lawyers, and also the whole state of Massachusetts, the University of UMass, just sending in letters and showing that even though we did come into the country illegally, like this is where he's at right now. Like I'm not in jail. I'm not doing something wrong. Like I worked my way up to get a scholarship. So they send in letters. We send all this to the embassy. The whole time I'm down there, no basketball, zero basketball at all. I had a jump rope, so I started jump roping a little bit, and one day I woke up, my jump rope was missing. I don't know where it's at. And you didn't like I was saying before, like as a kid, you don't really know what poverty really is. Till you get older, you get a piece of the good life, and then you have to go back to poverty, and you really realize, like, damn, like this is hard. Like, what I mean? Like, you can't just go open the fridge and grab something to eat, something to drink, or your light's not really on 24/7. You can't go take a shower anytime you want to go take a shower. And then this, after the earthquake had happened in Haiti in January, I'm down there in April. So it was just really an eye-opening experience, and really woke me up, and kind of really one of the lowest point of my life too at the same time, because you don't know if you're ever going to come back to the United States.
I mean, with that in mind, how do you use that low point to then come back and be ready when your name is called, right? So I'm sure the entire time, the 6 months, you had no clarity on the process. There's no way they're telling you, oh, like, a couple more days, whatever. So I'm sure one day you just get a call where it's like, all right, you're good to go. So walk us through that transition in your mind where you're, back in Haiti, probably not in the best mental space, not touching a basketball. And then all of a sudden you're probably expected to go right back on the court. And how do you use that as motivation and fuel now?
So I had a little bit of connections with what was going on through the whole process with the lawyer, and also with the embassy. So I called the embassy every day. I had a prepaid phone. I had had some money I had with me, brought it down there, bought a prepaid phone. I called the embassy every single day for that 6 months, Monday through Friday, to figure out what's going on, to the point where these people knew who I was, so like, so this is how I kind of figure out what was going on with the case a little bit, and where was it going and what happened. So much stuff happened between that time for the case for us to really end up coming back. If we never came across the lawyer that we came across, there was no chance of me coming back. He had worked with these cases hundreds of times. He brings athletes into the States from different countries for baseball, for Major League Baseball teams. So if we didn't meet him, there's no way I would have came back in the state. He walked us through the whole process, came to my mom's house from Miami, grabbed the paperwork he needed to figure out how to bring us back. And I remember the day he came, I told my mom, as soon as he come, please call me. This is the only way I had of staying, happy or staying, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So she called me, and I'm speaking to a lawyer. I'm like, what's going to happen? Every day you hear, oh yeah, you're going to get your passport this time, or you're going to go back this time, and nothing. So he said, listen, he said, give me 12 days, get you back.
Shit.
I'm like, I heard that, plenty of times. Like, I don't know if this is true, but the way he sound, I said, listen, this is the only hope I have, so I'll believe it. And that 12 days came, and then I called that embassy the night before. They said it's in processing, still in processing. And then when that 12th day came, they called me this time and told me, your passport is ready. Come pick it up. And I'm on the phone, tears just coming down my eyes. Like, I'm looking at my sister, like she's a little young at that time still, so she don't really know the magnitude of what's really going on. So I'm saying, tearing up, crying, like, hold up, I'm really going back, because a couple of weeks before they told us, since I turned 19 in the States, I might have to stay here. My little sister could go back. So just to hear that news was like, eye opening. Like, man, I'm going back. Like, I don't know what to do. The whole time I'm saying, like I can't even really express the feeling just to hear how much, like, going through that stage. Like, it was crazy though.
Man, this is crazy story, man, what you had to deal with. So now you go back to UMass, and I seen a couple of interviews, and your coach spoke so highly of you. Tell me about the experience playing for him for 4 years and how he helped you so much to get you prepared for the NBA.
Yeah, Coach Kellogg, man. Coach Kellogg is another person I spoke to every single day when I was down in Haiti. He was like, because just the fact that going through the whole situation and still kept me on scholarship, and then go get another player, like, just showing like he had that much faith that I was coming back. It was no doubt in his mind. Like, for me, I'm thinking I might really be down there 3 years, but for him, like, no, you coming back. And that commitment right there showing me that, you really believe in me this much, and you'll wait for me to come back rather than going, use that scholarship, get another player. Because you could easily just say, we can't help you, and just dropped everything. And for him doing that, as soon as I came back to UMass, my whole mindset just changed. Like, like, I seen life different, because now I really understand how poverty really is, and seeing what we have, I'm like, bro, I can't take none of this for granted.
It's funny you mentioned, gratitude, and I wanted to speak about this because I've noticed you've said some things in interviews that suggest you're very, like, open to the idea of just, like, being very grateful and present, and I think that's so important. Before we get into that, you have this coach, right, in the NCAA. For people who are listening who don't understand, the NCAA is ruthless. Okay, it's a business, and there are so many coaches that in the situation that Coach Kellogg would have been in, would have just seen Cady as a scholarship, which meant, like, he's gone, and that's a waste of money. So now I got to bring in a new player. So, I want you to touch on that relationship you had with the coach, and how that sort of helped you transition back into life after this experience you had in Haiti, right? Again, like, this is not a very normal thing for a coach to take an extra care into a player in the NCAA. These guys are playing for their jobs, and if someone's not helping them, get wins, then for them it's like, I gotta move on from this player. What was it like for you to come back to the States and see that you had someone there that was in your corner, that was ready to fight for you?
For me, I'm big on loyalty. Loyalty, whether it's family, friends, loyalty means a lot. And the fact that he came to my house and told my mom that, he was going to take care of me like I'm his son, showed the ultimate loyalty. The fact that he stuck to me through the whole process. Him and his family, like, they stuck to me the whole process. Any way they could have helped, they helped. If I needed a UMass to send a letter in, or I needed the state of Massachusetts to send a letter in or something, like, he helped no matter what it was, And the fact that he had showed that loyalty towards me, and like you said, the NCAA is a business. Like, all right, well, we lost out on this player. We got another scholarship. Let's get another player. It's easy for him just to switch that out. So the fact that he didn't do that, he decided, no, we're gonna stick with this kid and try to bring him back, and had faith that I was gonna pan out to be the player that I am. Showed, like, the ultimate loyalty and trust. So to me, like, DK was. DK probably, he's not much of a Philly, guy that won't express feelings too much. Like, you go tell Coach, I really appreciate you. Be like, oh, yeah, come on. You know what I mean? But, when I talk to him, man, it's just like, it's almost like, man, this guy really, like, he really paved the whole way for all this to happen right now. Like, I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, I'm so thankful that I had a coach like Coach Kellogg. Like, right now he's at Creighton, and they made the March Madness and doing great. And I went up to UMass, he wasn't there, but had dinner with his wife and his son, and some of my other teammates were there also. So, like, we still have a family, a brotherhood, and Coach Kellogg is the reason why. And even the way I play sometimes with all the energy is really because of Coach Kellogg. Like, he really helped me with it. And man, Coach Kellogg is my guy.
Last question about when you were at UMass. I know you stayed there for 5 years. One of those years, was it because you had to leave to Haiti, or was it due to an injury? What was the reason you stayed for 5 years?
So the reason I said is because first I had the Prop 48, and then once I came back from being a Prop 48, as soon as I came back from Haiti, the season kind of started. I'm jump roping, and trying to get back in shape, trying to get the feeling. I haven't touched a basketball in like 6-7 months, so I'm trying to get the feeling back shooting. I can't really find it, so I'm working out crazy in the gym every day trying to get it back. So as I'm doing that, I end up having a stress fracture in my foot after I came back. So this right before the season started. So as soon as that happened, another bummer. I had to go get surgery. So I got surgery, stress fracture, had a screw put in my fifth metatarsal. So as soon as I got a screw put in my fifth metatarsal, waited for it to recovery process 4 months, and everything was good. So I came back playing, and as I'm playing, as a freshman, start climbing up the ladder. We had a senior there, which was great senior. He always tried to make sure I catch on as a big, what's going on, how college basketball is as a big. So he was helping me out, and the whole team, they all, always helpful. We had a brotherhood. We had a real brotherhood. That UMass community was a real brotherhood, and so they kept on pushing you to stay motivated. So as that was going on, I started playing better and better and better. And I remember 12th grade into my season, we playing one of the teams that was close by, close rivalry, and I'm playing well. Had like 12 points the first half, and this is the game that you kind of use to help you, catapult to that next level. As I'm playing, I went up to grab a rebound and go back up to go dunk it, and I landed and I twisted my ankle. When that happened, I broke my fifth metatarsal again. The whole screw bent, and the bone just broke. So this is my freshman year, and I'm out now after 12 games playing, and I'm like, bro, I can't catch a break. Like it's one thing after another. I'm like, as I'm finally coming back to playing that, and this happened, my fifth metatarsal I broke. So, and in that season, I had to, since I played 12 games, I had just crossed the barrier where like, if you get injured, you could get an extra season back. I had just crossed that, so so I had to use the whole season as that for my freshman year.
This is insane what you had to go through. I am, man. Yo, I'm proud of you, man. You're unbelievable. The journey, it's insane.
Cady, I think many people that went through what you went through in university probably would have laced them up and quit, but you still pushed through and you made it to the NBA, which you've spoken about briefly. Talk about that transition from UMass into an NBA organization, like you said, with some of the greats, right? One of the greatest coaches of all time, some of the greatest players of all time. What did you as a young guy pick up and take away? And also, how did you know that it was time to leave San Antonio and start looking at basketball around the world?
So that transition from college to the NBA really is really a big jump for me, because I had to learn how to become a pro very fast, because in college everything is pretty much done for you, everything's taken care of, and when you transition into the real world, now you got to figure things out on your own. You got an agent helping you here and there, but navigating the day-to-day stuff, you got to figure it out on your own. So when I went to San Antonio, I had to just figure out how to be a pro. So I started, watching some of these other players, the Kawhis, Tim Duncan, Manu, how they, get ready for practice, how to get ready for games, or like what they do in the weight room when they come in the morning. Even some of the younger guys I had there, that was there with me, Kyle Anderson. So I watched them to see what were they doing that was kind of different for me to just put add into my routine. So that's what I really took from how to really become a real pro, a professional player, rather than just being another basketball player. So that really helped me learn how to take care of your body, eat the right food, the weight room, working out, just all the key stuff that you probably think you need to do, but they really show me this is what you got to do on a daily basis just to really be, that good.
Cady, give me a story, something about Manu or Tony Parker, Duncan, something you learned from those guys, something that we don't know about.
Seeing them so Timmy D, I really watched Tim Duncan come in. It's Tim Duncan at the very end of his career, really coming to the gym. That this patented move, the face up, backboard jump shot. I really watched him come in there and got on the gun and worked on that move for an hour.
Wow.
I'm saying, like, it's Tim Duncan. Like, it's Tim Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking he don't really have to do that, but here he is working on that move for an hour, just same move over. Like, he's not doing nothing. The same move over. I said, so this is what you really got. You got to really. This is not just something you just see him try in the game and it just happens. This is something you really put hundreds of hours of reps into to really where it looks automatic. You know what I mean? It looks unreal. Like every time you shoot this goes in. This is why these shots, to the casual fan, they don't really understand how much work you really got put in as a basketball player to really be to that level where, you know, you shooting the ball, it goes in. Like it just doesn't happen overnight. Like you gotta really put in reps for it to happen. Sometimes, yeah, you might get away just doing a move that you never really work on in the game just by natural instincts. But some of the moves that you make in every game consistently, it gotta really be reps that you gotta do every single day. And seeing Tim Duncan get in the gym at like, I think he was around 30 some, at 38, 37, I'm not sure. Doing that at the end of his career showed that, you know, this is what you really gotta do. Kawhi working on, you know, the little floater or little mid-range jump shot with a 12-inch broomstick, you know, 12 feet broomstick, just, you know, Jeremy trying to block it, his man. So I'm like, you know, these shots, you see him really work on. Manu almost broke my nose when I first got there playing pickup. He threw a pick and roll pass right to my face, and I caught the ball, but the ball kind of nipped my nose. And as I'm catching it, kind of jammed my finger a little bit, and I'm like, oh, if I didn't catch this, yeah, he would have broke my nose. And just, you know, this why some of these passes see Manu do, or some of these, you know, Euro steps, the guys go for it, because this guy is so crafty. He really worked on his game. Manu one of the most chill, down to earth guys I ever met. Like, you wouldn't even think he's an NBA or an NBA player at all, just seeing him. You know what I mean? So just being around those guys, you know, you realize how humbling they are too. Also, like Tim Duncan, really, as I'm sitting there getting tape, he comes right next to me, start talking to me about, you know, getting drafted, you know, growing up, and just, I'm really saying like, oh, Tim Duncan really, he kind of did his research on me a little bit to know a little something about me before he even had this conversation with me. So, I mean, great people down there. Those guys, I seen why they stayed together for so long and why they won so much championship. You know what I mean? Just winning don't just happen by mistake. Like, you have a good core group of people.
Budi, this is amazing that he touched on that, because, you know, we always talked about player development when we're talking about kids. And he's telling you the great Tim Duncan came in for an hour, worked on the same shot over and over. And nowadays, when you bring a kid and say, hey, we're going to work on your one dribble pull-up for about 45 minutes or even 30 minutes, he looks at you like, what? We're not going to do handles. We're not going to do any step backs. We're not going to do all that. So they look at you like, yo, no, I don't like this. And they want the whole thing. And they don't understand patenting and perfecting a move. It's what's all about.
I think that stays with you for a long time. So you mentioned Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson is now playing for arguably one of the better teams left in the playoffs. We're shooting this episode Tuesday, April 30th. The Wolves just swept the Suns. Kyle Anderson is playing on the Wolves, right? And he's got young, exciting talent on his team. Arguably, I mean, I think he's my favorite player. You mentioned he's one of your favorite players, Anthony Edwards. We're starting to see the emergence of a real superstar and a real leader in how he's playing. So you almost wonder, does Kyle have similar stories that you have, where it's like you're surrounded by these leaders and these mentors early in your career, and then you can go off and you can transition that back into, you know, maybe Kyle Anderson is helping Anthony Edwards grow. So I guess my question for you is, are you now more of a leader because you've been around players like that? And when you go and you play in a country like Kuwait, where maybe the standard wasn't as high until you got there, do you find yourself also taking a more, you know, assertive leadership role?
Definitely. Being around these guys, like I know for sure Kyle have probably way 10 times better story. Kyle was there for 4 years. So Kyle probably really learned how to be a pro, and I'm pretty sure he's probably, you know, teaching Anthony Edwards how to be a pro too on top of that. And Kyle chill, laid back guy too. So
slow grind.
Yeah, slow grind, slow mo. You know what I mean? Slow mo. Crazy game though. You know what I mean? If you play pickup with Kyle, you'll realize he's really a lot more nice than what you see in the NBA games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kyle's a great guy too. But being there and learning how to be a pro also helped me transition when I came overseas to learn how to really be a pro, how to carry myself, what I should do, what I should not do. And then being one of the better players, when you come to these teams, you have an NBA tag, and you know you're getting paid X amount of dollars, and everybody look at you like, everybody try to find chinks in your armor, the reason why you're not XYZ, you know. So I feel like when you come to certain countries, you got to carry yourself as a pro to show like, this is why, you know, I'm one of the top guys. This is why I'm one of the better players. And putting the work in, which his teammates see putting the work in, you know, they can't. It kind of like there's not much you could really nitpick. You know, like, all right, maybe shots not falling today, but you seen put up shots every day. You have one of these days sometimes, like, you know, or some, you know, it's not going on right during the game or something happened. You see me throughout X amount of game consistently did the right stuff. So like, I think just showing that, me being around San Antonio, seeing how some of these guys are, I bring that with me overseas a little bit, you know, where to really be a pro and really definitely take the leadership role and like show. I'm more of a leader by example. I'm not the guy that's gonna sit here and just talk. I'm more like, this is what I do, this is what you should do. You know, take care of your body, eat right, do the right stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, hey, X, Y, hey, X, Y. No, I'm not gonna do that. I lead by example. You follow along, you're gonna be on the right page.
So basketball has taken you on a journey around the world. You got China, we talked about Turkey, Spain, and now in Kuwait. Which place resonated with you the most, both in terms of basketball and culture?
Probably really when I first went to China. It was a really big culture shock. When I first went to China, all the way on the other side of the world, the food, and you know, you hear some of the stereotypes you hear about China, all this stuff, and just now you really hear in China, and then you know, you get to experience the culture, and it's so different night and day from the Western world. You know what I'm saying? So being in China and just eating, and when I first got to China, I lost probably, you know, a good 20-15 pounds, just, you know, not really eating much because, you know, you didn't know what you was eating sometimes. And Sam, I think you played in China also too, right?
I did. I was just about to ask you about the China experience. Tell me all about it, what city you were in, so I know a little bit more.
Don't let Sam be humble, by the way. Sam led the league in assists like 2 years in a row. This guy is a hooper.
Yeah. So I was with the Golden Bulls, Shingji Golden Bulls, right in Yiwu, 45 minutes from Shanghai, an hour from Shanghai. The same team J.R. Smith played for.
Yes, yeah, I know that team very well. That's a decent city, actually.
Yeah, small little city. Yeah, but man, I got food poisoning there. At the time, my wife now, at the time, my girlfriend, she came over there, got food poisoning also. So she was like, you know, I could do 2 weeks here. I'm going back home after this food poisoning.
You mentioned going back home for your wife. Does she live in the States, or does she sort of follow you wherever your career takes you?
So after we got together, you know, when we got serious, she started following me everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, she came with me. You know, after I played in Italy, I went to Turkey. She you know what I mean, she had quit her job and decided, you know, every place I go, she's gonna travel with me, experience the culture with me. It makes it a lot easier when you have somebody here, especially being overseas, because it get lonely sometimes if you're just here by yourself. You know, like the time difference, can't really talk to friends and family back home all the time. So.
And that's a good transition into sort of life off the court, right? One of our guests whose episode is releasing quite shortly was speaking candidly about the struggles of his wife being sort of far away and the balance of, you know, you finish practice, you call them, it makes you sad, but then you remember that that's who you're doing it for, so you grind again, and this like continuous cycle of remembering why you're doing what you're doing. But then there comes a time when, you know, you got to retire from the sport. And whether it's basketball, track, football, whatever it is, your body can only perform at a high level for so long. You, even though you're already, you know, you're still in the peak of your career, you've already started to explore life outside the sport. You know, I could sit here and list the different things you're doing, but I want to give you an opportunity to discuss all the things you're doing off the court, what sort of inspired you to sort of get started while you're still in your career, and any lessons you have for people that are listening, for who are balancing this sports life balance.
What really inspired me, like I remember when I first was driving around downtown Orlando, I seen the big buildings. I was always trying to figure out who owned these buildings. Like, these buildings are huge, and do they really have an owner or what? And you know, and I think it's one of my teachers I was speaking to about it. You know, she asked me what I want to be, and this probably like my freshman year of high school. So I didn't really take basketball serious yet, and I haven't really, you know, seen basketball as a way to really make it out. So she said, you know, what you really want to do? I said, I want to own one of these big buildings downtown. And she said, how you going to do that? I said, I don't know. Do you know how to do it? And she was like, you know, you got to be a business or a CEO or something like that. And she started explaining. And so that was all was in my mind. And then also I went through a whole process seeing my mom come to the country and buying a house, like probably like 4 years later, after she came to the country, she bought a house. So I seen the grind that she actually put in to make it happen, and going through the whole real estate process to me was like eye-opening. Like, damn, this is so cool. You could really buy a house and do all this. So that alone, and also with talking to this teacher, kind of had me start thinking about business. And, business to me was always interesting because it's a little challenge, but once you figure it out, you kind of control your own destiny, and you could buy your own time back. And to me, it's like, that's my biggest thing, buying your time back, where like, especially now having a family, like if I could really buy my time back, like I love it, you know what I mean? And then just being your own boss, not having somebody, telling you what to do or how you do something, to me is like, I'll tell everybody, be your own boss at the end of the day. Even when my alarm goes off, it says it's time to boss up today. So, and I think, what I'm playing right now is just a little, it's not easier. It's definitely a little bit harder playing because you're not in the States to do certain stuff or do certain meetings. It's just trying to get the ball rolling a little bit. So when it do comes time to retire, it makes it a lot easier. And then you're not really hit panic mode. Because I talked to some guys that retired and they tell me after they retired, now they're trying to figure it out. They're scrambling around trying to X, Y, Z, and they wish they was doing this when they was playing. So as I'm hearing this, and I always go to older guys, even since I've been younger, to get advice and hear like, some mistake they did to really help me not make the same mistake. Since I've been playing basketball, that I always did that. And they'll all give you some pointers. And, sometimes when older people speak, you listen. You know what I mean? You're not just, here it's talk. You listen sometimes and actually listen to what they're saying. That's when I started really gravitating towards real estate, business, and trying to like, plan everything to really, when the time comes, to have a easy exit.
So before you talk about some of the specific businesses, because I would love the details, I want to touch upon what you said. No question, just a comment. I mean, that's the crux of why we started this, right? It's not only do you start to worry about what you're going to do after, but the identity crisis that accompanies retirement is real, right? If you've spent your entire life playing basketball, being told you're a basketball player, being told it's all you're ever going to do, and then you're 35, so you're not even halfway done with your life, and you don't know what the fuck you're going to do next, that can be quite crippling. And I think what you just said there, even though you maybe didn't phrase it as advice, it's great advice, right? If you're a young player, always seek out the older players. Always look at what they're doing, understand the mistakes they made, and try and learn from them. Because retirement in sports and athletes who have at one point been at the highest highs that are now the lowest lows, like that's one of the saddest stories you can imagine, right? Especially for that individual. Like even the Allen Iverson story, right? Where it's like this guy was iconic, right? And still is regarded as one of the best players ever, but there are questions and rumors about his financial well-being. So I think now we're in a day and age where we know that this is a common trend and a common theme. And so you as a young athlete, like you need to make sure you're putting yourself in position to succeed after. So with that in mind, why don't you walk us through some of the different businesses you are operating? I know you mentioned you have an academy, a nonprofit. I'd love to hear some more details on that.
All right. So the business I'm in right now is real estate. One is real estate, buying houses, fixing them up, selling them. My wife's a real estate agent herself. So real estate is probably my number one business. I love real estate, just
in the U.S.
In the U.S., yeah. But I'm trying to transition overseas also because now I'm seeing emerging markets. I really want to get into it in, like Dubai, 100 years from now. Who knew, New York, every building in New York almost costs $100 million. So not saying that's, I don't know if that's going to happen in Dubai, but just the fact, Dubai is so young and you could get in right now. So why not? Yeah, everything looks good. So definitely trying to transition to real estate overseas also. But right now, just primarily in the States. And also, me and my wife, we got a trucking company, and also I had a teammate here, not really a teammate, a coach. They ended up going back to the States, and I partnered up with him to help me manage it a little bit easier while I'm overseas, and it's been going great. We just got a big contract from one of the major companies in the United States that work with Advanced Auto Part and some of these car companies. So just moving products for them, and also with the nonprofit, starting the nonprofit part like around when COVID first started, and COVID kind of put a dent to our nonprofit because you couldn't really meet and kind of killed a lot of our flow that we had going. This summer we're trying to start back again with the nonprofit, doing community events. And the middle school I went through, they great. They helped me out with setting up functions. We went there, gave backpacks, clothing, whatever the kids needed. Because it's a Title I school, so some of the stuff they don't really have all the stuff that you would need.
Man, I mean, you're very, very well rounded with your businesses. But when did you start your first business? At what age?
I started when I was 26.
And what got you into it? Did you have any mentors that you talk to often? Did they guide you into this? Like, what made you step into it at a young age? Because you just started your overseas gigs.
So yeah, I had a mentor. I had a couple mentors, and also like I told you, my favorite player is LeBron. So seeing LeBron as an athlete, get into business too was like, if this person is doing everything the right way, I'm not gonna try to reinvent the wheel. I'm just gonna follow along behind what they're doing if this works, and try to make sure it works for me too. Also, you know what I mean. But listen, LeBron has a different type of network, different type of people, so I got to do it in my own type of network and the people I know. So I had a mentor, Jules, which he had a business background. He had opened several businesses, sold some, and then he works in DC right now for the World Bank, and he just anything business wise. This is where I go to and talk to. So, and anytime I had a question or anything business related, I'll go to him and speak to him, even if it was an industry that he doesn't really know 100% about, but some of the core things of running a business, he kind of explain to me and tell me how to run it, or what he would do or what he would not do, or how he would seek advice or not. And then other athletes, I had a couple teammates that had their own businesses, so I'll sit down, go have dinner with them, chop it up with them, like, hey man, so like, what you doing, like how's that running, how's it going, what made you start it, just to pick their brains a little bit. And I'll start seeing, all right, some of these guys are actually very smart, and some of these guys making good money outside of making great money playing basketball also. I said, why not just copy their playbook and do the same thing?
Cady, is there anything you haven't mentioned that you're working on, that you want to work on, a business that you ideally would start one day?
Yeah, so right now I'm working on a membership community that I'm starting up called Members Only. And it's just really just a community base for, like-minded individual entrepreneurs, athletes, everybody, where you could have a network of people just to talk to. Like athletes, at the end of the day, like we do have a large amount of capital that we could use for business purposes and investments and do all this other stuff. And then you have some mentors that they have the business expertise that some join. And also I have a newsletter that I started called Bread Chat, where pretty much just give you information about investments, different type of investments you could do. So tell you about stocks, crypto, real estate, just give you a little XYZ just to get your mind moving a little bit, start thinking about it. Because I think the more you start reading something, you start seeing it, the more you start getting a little comfortable with it, then you're gonna start researching it, and then when it's time to execute and do it, you kind of got everything crossed out and figured out already. So I know for me with starting investments, that's how I started. YouTube University was my go-to, and then when I started reading on Google about different type of stuff, it opened up my mind. So when it came time to make these investments or get into real estate and re-put my capital behind it, I wasn't too scared to do it, because I kind of learn all the ins and outs about it. Like right now we in playoff mode, so like I'm kind of more gearing towards basketball. Like kind of have my wife doing some of the other stuff for the business, so like I'm trying to step away from it. And it's just sometimes like when you're really locked into the season, it's kind of hard too to really run it. Say if you have important meeting that's supposed to come up, maybe I can't take this, or you might miss out on an opportunity. So that's the only biggest challenges I feel like you do have. But at the same time, I met a friend that, started talking to me about, delegating work. What I mean? Just sometimes you got to delegate work. I'm somebody more like, it's tough to really find the passion that you have for your business. It's tough to find somebody that's going to really run it and make sure everything's ran the way you want it to be ran. So I started, working towards delegating some stuff. I found a partner that he's, this is my guy. He's really passionate about, running it how I need to be ran. Like he kind of understands how I am, how like detail everything needs to be. So, so I've just been working with him. So just starting to delegate some work even to my wife, start delegating some work to her for her to do. Cause, I try to keep it, between, wife and business. Sometimes, it don't mix. But luckily for us, we had to talk. We had everything. She kind of understand, like, my plate get full sometimes. I need, I need some help.
You better give her a salary raise though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If you were in a room with everybody you ever met, who would you gravitate towards and why?
I'm really big on energy. I can't really specifically say the people, but just energy and just willingness to really, push, like adversity, push through anything. You know, like really people that are really fearless. People that are really fearless to me, like probably the people I gravitate towards to the most, because you know they're not afraid to fail. They're gonna fail and get right back up, wipe it off, and keep pushing. And
there's no one in particular from your your life so far that you think showed you the way of overcoming adversity, having good energy, being positive, being present.
My mom. Sounds cliche, but yeah, my mom. My mom, like she definitely showed me what adversity really is. Getting a new country, taking care of, at that time I had my younger sister also, 3 kids, and pretty much really her by herself. Like she done showed me, like I come home and she's still somehow happy after working 3 jobs. So to me, like, my mom really showed me how to really get through. You know what I mean? Like that's why even to this day, when I go through certain stuff, I'm like, bro, this would look like nothing to my mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like it would look like nothing to her. So, it don't really shake me. You don't really scare me or nothing like that. So,
Cady, what an episode. First and foremost, thank you for being so candid, for sharing your story. I think there are going to be plenty of people who are so inspired by what you just told us and the way you approach life, right? I think it's very difficult. I think it's very easy to be overcome by what life throws at you. And I think you've demonstrated to people that, there's always a way forward and anything is possible if you keep your mind to it. So first and foremost, from me personally, thank you. It's also great to have, like I said, a fellow Nadia Kuwait player on the podcast. You guys are 1 win away from, going back-to-back West Asia champions and then hopefully being champions of the Middle East this season. So just from me, thank you. I appreciate you. Say what's up to all my brothers and give Brother a big hug for me.
Got you. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Man, I asked a lot of the teammates about this guy, and I knew he had a crazy story, Sam, but I didn't think he was going to be so candid on our show, and for him to talk about that and the struggles he went through and the journey to and from and then back to Haiti and then not sure if he's going to make it. I mean, it's 8 a.m. in New York, and I can tell you there's no better way to start your day than hearing a story like that. That was truly inspirational.
Yo, calling it inspirational is an understatement. His story is unbelievable. Wow. I'm so happy for him to be able to actually make it and get drafted. And now he's having such a great, successful overseas career. Man, I'm so proud of this guy. Unbelievable.
Me too. And from what I've seen, he's quite the hooper as well. So I'm sure whatever he does off the court, whether it's real estate, whether it's his membership club, I'm sure he'll be just as successful in that as he is as a hooper.
No, I agree. This kid is going to be fine. He has a great head on himself. He's going to be fine during his basketball career and after his basketball career. Thanks so much, guys. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video.
Wherever you're listening to the podcast, please make sure you subscribe because it makes a big difference for Sam and I and ensures that we can keep bringing you fresh content.
Yo, another great one. Thank you, brother. That was a phenomenal episode.
Thank you, Sam. I'll see you soon, brother. Always good to see you.
Take care. Have a good one, brother. Peace.